Yeeer, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Black Trey from Your Music, Your Network, bringing you another one, man. So, I want to thank you for joining us today. Today we doing the Music Box episode 1, and we're going to be dropping a video every week. So, on this, we're going to be looking back, or we're going to be doing maybe something current, up to date. But today, I figured, my man Lupe Fiasco, I seen that he just went on tour and he just finished an album, so I figured what better time than to rank like his albums, because when I was like figuring out what I need to do for the channel, I was like, all right, I need to put something out. And I was like, yo, you know what I mean? Like the new music, like it's resonating, but for the amount of time that I need to spend with an album, I don't think it's fair that I'm like grading these albums. As soon as they come out, I'm giving them grades, and I'm not even giving them a chance to sit with me. So I think it would be a little bit better if I started like not necessarily reviewing, but just ranking like some of my favorite artists in terms of like their albums. Every week we're gonna be doing a different exercise. So this week we're gonna be ranking Lupe Fiasco's albums. You know, he has 7 studio albums up to date, you feel what I'm saying? So this wouldn't include anything that's dropping, if he does end up dropping within, you know, any time frame of like this dropping. So this is not nothing recent. So the latest one that we'll be reviewing is 2018's Drogas Wave. So let's start it off, man. So at number 7 on the album, and matter of fact, my list of how I'm ranking these albums is just in terms of how they impacted me in my life. You feel what I'm saying? So albums that like I had on repeat and just kept going. Some of the albums, like the list, like people may disagree, but honestly and truly, like I have a certain type of feel when I listen for music, and you know what I mean, some of the songs that I may like, some people may not, you know, necessarily like. So I'm definitely, you know, I made a lot of music. Like back in the day, I put out not necessarily a lot of stuff, but you know, I really appreciated sticking to more of an artistic way of view and expressing yourself, as opposed to just doing stuff to, you know, gain popularity. So, you know, that's basically the criteria. So for me, all right, so starting off number 7 is Drogas Light. Now, Drogas Light did have some decent tracks on it. I'd say, was it Nigga for Life? Not Gonna Lose. Oh, Niggas Gonna Lose. Niggas Gonna Lose. Ty Dolla $ign. That joint was tough. Promise. I promise. Like this album, it had potential. Like it's a concept album. Like he has 3 concept albums. Well, actually, no, he has actually like 6 out of 7 of his albums are technically concept albums. You know, because they mostly all tell stories. I don't think Lasers was as much of a concept album as the rest. But you know, I did like how just like started off, but just in terms of like impact, I think this is probably the album that I listened to the least, and I like the least amount of tracks off of this album. I did like Niggas Gonna Lose. That joint was tough. Promise. That joint was real tough. High Interlude, because I started like going back through these tracks, like, you know, just to like get them fresh in my head. High Interlude, Tranquilo with Big Crit and Rick Ross. That joint was flames. Big Crit, actually, I thought he was like double lapping everybody on the track until like, you know, got to the end and he sort of like slowed down. But Lupe always has the potential to like out rap anybody, you know what I mean, if he wants to. But I think when he's sticking to a certain theme, that's just what he does. Kill with Ty Dolla $ign and Victoria Monet was super chill vibes. Law, he had like a really dope story. I was like watching his Instagram live. He had like a real dope story behind that right there, and Pick Up the Phone was pretty cool. Single, not really a big single type guy, and especially like for somebody like Lupe, who like their singles are like super popular, super industry. You know what I mean? They're not my favorite, but definitely like if you're gonna check out like this album, those would be like some of the tracks I think that highlighted that I really liked. All right, so it is what it is. Now next up at number 6, we got Tetsuo And Youth. Now, a lot of people may rank this album like a little bit higher, like if they did their rankings, but the reason why I ranked this right here was because like it was the first in like I think like his last bit of like concept album. So he had the Tetsuo And Youth, Drogas Light, Drogas Wave. Now Tetsuo and Light, he tried to go. He at this time I think he started like doing samurai work. He started, you know, practicing. I think he did like fighting and stuff before, but he was really like getting into a samurai game. He's growing his dress. Like he had a whole different like kind of feel. And then this joint definitely had some joints on it that I like. Mural was fire. Blur My Hands, Yeah, Blur My Hands is pretty dope. Dots and Lines, Prisoner 1 and 2. The concept is actually really flavor. Body of Work, one of the best flows. I think Body of Work was one of my favorite joints. Little Death, No Scratches, Deliver, Madonna. Like, it had some joints, but they were so like, this was like so like deep in the concept, and like I wanted more of like one of the albums that I'm going to be talking about in the future. I wanted something closer to that, and I thought it just delved too deeply. You know, it was a bit much, and it didn't resonate with me as much. You know what I mean? Some people may disagree, but for me, when it comes to the album, that's number 6. You feel what I'm saying? So next on the list, and this album actually would have been higher if it wasn't so long. And if you're a Lupe Fiasco fan, you already know what I'm talking about. An hour and like 40 minutes is like a chore to get through, but it definitely got hot tracks on it. So Drogas Wave, you know what I mean? Definitely love this album. Like the concept, it's like super dope. It's like during the transatlantic slave trade, one of the ships goes down into the ocean, and then they form like this society, and they start like, you know, they start like building like their own like community. It's like an Atlantis type of feel, and then I think they're like grabbing ships and like taking the people and the people down into the, you know, that's like the basic concept of the album. They're like taking the people down into to live down there and be free. I think technically, like if you think about it, like conceptually they would be dead, but you know what I mean? It's dope because they turn it into like, it's like the way they explain it. Like I've heard other people like trying to explain it, but when I listen to like Lupe talk about this album, it's like it's a whole like fantasy type of thing where they like go down and then they find out they can live down there, and then they're like mermaids, and then they, you know, they're like joined with the aquatic life and all. It's pretty dope, man. This is one of his best albums, but just in terms of sheer length, like it's so long. When it comes to like Lupe albums, there's certain songs that, all right, I'm gonna go, because it's just like, you know, not every day you got 2 hours to listen to an album. And when it comes to like songs, like if I had to pick like my favorite 3 songs, I'm definitely going with Wave, Files, Down, and XO. Even though XO is kind of pop, oh, actually, scratch XO. I like XO. To me is just because I like tunes and like the singing like with the females like on the rapping tracks. I like the synergy. So XO is definitely one of my favorite tracks, but King Nas, definitely hands down. You know, pay tribute to my man. You already know what it is. So that's dope right there. Yeah, that's really, honestly and truly, I would have ranked this one maybe like 5th above the next album that I'm gonna be talking about. But just the length, it was way too long. You feel me saying for me? So it's just like there's tracks that I'll go to that pop up that I'm just like, this is not getting skipped at all. You know what I mean? But definitely a dope concept album. Definitely worth a listen. Like sit down, like if you have nothing going on, just throw that album on, just have it in the background. You may start catching. That's like how I had to do it, man. Just threw that joint on and I just kept catching references, and then, you know what I mean? It just leads me into like, I'm going and looking into like Lupe Fiasco and just like his interviews and when he's talking about the album and stuff like that, and yo, it's pretty interesting. Now at number, was it 5 or was that 4? 7, 6, 5. Okay, at number 4. Now this album I thought was, you know, not a lot of people really don't like this album, but for me it caught me by surprise because I thought it was gonna be like, judging by the intro, I thought it was going to be one of his best albums. It does have songs that I really like, though, because I think I was still going off my Lupe high. So this album for sure is called Lasers. Letting Go, I think, was one of his best intros on any album that he did. It's one of my favorite intros on a lot of hip-hop albums. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people may not agree, but, you know what I mean? I'm a Lupe fan. I think Lupe is, like, talented above, like, a lot of other artists. You know what I mean? But dope songs off of this. Out of My Head, Beautiful Lasers is one of my favorite joints. Coming Up is pretty cool. Stay Run Radio, you know what I mean? Lupe, he be on like his, not political, but because I'm not really a big social justice fan, but he be like bringing up topics that need to be discussed. So, you know what I mean? That joint cool. Break the Chain is one of my favorite joints on the album, even though it's more of like it's more of like an industry joint. Like he got his man, I think Sway. I think that dude's from like the UK or something like that. But that's one of my favorite joints. All Black Everything, I'm Beaming, Shining Down. Those are pretty dope joints. So that's in that spot. So that's number 4. Yep, that's number 4. Okay, so now top three, man. Here we go. All right, so number 3, you feel what I'm saying? Let me see if anybody can guess this. What you think number 3 is, man? If you think number 3 is going to be Food and Liquor 2, The Great American Rap Album, Part 1, then you are correct. This album, when this came out, because I think, was it The Cool, Food and Liquor, then I think Lasers, then this. When this album came out, I was still coming off, I was still like riding high, like I wasn't Lupe it out, because when Lupe albums come out, I play them a lot, so I still wasn't Lupe it out yet. This train has some real dope tracks on here. It didn't like initially catch me like when it first came out. I was like, but as I sat with it more, like that's when I was like, yeah, this joint definitely is one of his better albums. I think it's like, especially the concept is he was going hard trying to, bring the energy from Food and Liquor, his first album. I think that, you know what I mean, he definitely brought it. All right, tracks from this one, Strange Fruition with Casey Benjamin, Around the Wave, Freedom Ain't Free, that joint tough, Audubon Ballroom, Bitch Bad is alright, Lamborghini Angels is one of my favorites, Put 'Em Up is fire, Heart Donor with Pooh Bear, that joint is crazy, I like that. Battle Scars, one of my favorite Lupe Fiasco songs of all time. So Form Follows Function is pretty cool. His flow's dope on that. Beat is crazy. Unforgivable Youth, another one. So that's 2 of my favorite Lupe Fiasco songs, hands down, that make the top. I think those 2 are like on, I don't know if they make the top 5 on songs, but they definitely make the top 10 for sure. All right, so next up, this album is a classic, and it's not what you think. It's not what you think. So this album, number 2 spot, would be Food and Liquor. Now, since, like, when I was introduced to Lupe, this wasn't the first album that I heard. I actually heard, the album after this. But we're going to be getting to that. So just Food and Liquor is absolutely classic. He came through at this time when he was coming out. I think Food and Liquor was 2006. Yep. 2006. You had to be hard, you had to be tough. You feel what I'm saying? He's from Chicago. You know what I mean? You spit in the East Coast. So, this joint was more, it gave like the nerds, people, not necessarily, like when I was growing up, maybe I wasn't necessarily nerdy, but I like nerdy things because I was real popular. I did a lot of stuff with like other people, I was on teams, was rapping, was doing a lot of stuff. So I wasn't necessarily a nerd, but I did like to do a lot of nerdy things, watch anime and stuff like that. So this definitely gave you a feel like, and I caught this album, I didn't catch it in 06. I may have caught this in like 07, 08. You feel what I'm saying? Like after, but I did hear like some of the singles, but this is my second favorite album from my man. You feel what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And then with the number 1 album, you know what I mean? And number 2, that is an absolute classic. So if you never heard it, definitely go check it out. That joint fire. Now from number 1, this album, I would say you can throw this album on and check it out from top to bottom. You feel what I'm saying? And with that, for all your fans, you already know I'm talking about The Cool. You already know I'm talking about The Cool. You feel what I'm saying? Now this album, right? Man, what can I not say about this album? You feel what I'm saying? What can I not say about it? This album is fire, man. He starts it off with like a spoken word joint, but it's not too long because on Food and Liquor 2, that joint is dumb long. I'm like, yo, it's only like 2 or 3 minutes. Like, all right, let's get to the music. But then Free Chili, my man Gemstones, he used to be Gemini from FNF and rock with him. Then he just like, his flow is just crazy. Like every song was dope. Go gadget flow. One more, my go gadget flow. He had the coolest. So he had this whole story with this dude named The Cool, who he's trying to be cool, and he ended up getting murdered and ended up coming back to life. You know what I mean? To like haunt the niggas who killed him and all that. So, that was pretty crazy. Superstar was like his first, like, like big. Well, no, he had Kick Push, but off this album, Superstar was his big hit. You feel what I'm saying? Paris, Tokyo, fire. High Definition was Stoop. He brought Snoop to another level. Gold Watch, one of his even like people that didn't like Lupe love Go. I put people on the Go watching it like, yo, damn, like they went hard for that. Hip Hop Saved My Life, one of my favorites. Intruder Alert. If you don't even like Lupe, that's a song that, you know, can touch your soul, because I'm all about, like, you know what I mean, like giving people a chance and not taking advantage of people and not, you know what I mean, not hurting kids and not all that stuff, man. I'm about, you know, giving people a chance to succeed in life. Intruder Alert really, you know, hit home for a lot of things. Like, I know a lot of people who dealt with like a lot of different types of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not going to even get into it, but you feel what I'm saying? Like, that one was real personal. Streets on Fire. Fire concept on that's crazy. Lil Weapon, like going through and like just from there on, it's like the album is so dope. Like the concepts, I mean, from the top, but from there, from like Streets on Fire down up until Go Baby, the last track, yo man, it's like an experience, yo. So if you never heard the Cool, definitely go check it out, man. That's our #1 joint. So let me know what you guys thought. Any Lupe Fiasco fans, you know, put in the comments what's your favorite album. You know, did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Is my insight on the albums, like, am I doing it crazy? You feel what I'm saying? Like, let me know what you thought, man. You feel what I'm saying? Lupe Fiasco is one of my favorite artists of all time. I really enjoy doing this, man. So being able to like go back through the albums that I haven't heard in a long time, and just seeing like how I feel and how they made me feel, and being able to rank them, you know. So now I have more of an appreciation, because honestly and truly in my head, the albums weren't, before I did this exercise, the albums weren't ranked that way. I did have The Cool as #1 because that's my favorite Lupe album, but Food and Liquor 2, I didn't have it ranked as high until I went back through it again. And a couple like I didn't expect Drogas Light to be like my least favorite. I thought it was gonna be Tetsuo And Youth, honestly. But when I like went through it again, I was like, yeah, nah, Drogas Light. To me, like it's conceptual, but to me it's probably like the weakest, you know what I mean, just in terms of albums. But not saying that the album's weak, you feel what I'm saying? But my criteria is that if I listen to this album and it was your first album, would it hook me to be a fan of you? So that's how the rankings, I basically put it up, and The Cool for me definitely trumps all. So it is what it is, man. Holla at your boy, man. We here, man. Next week, I think we're going to be doing Kanye West. I'm waiting on my man E, because we're going to be doing a Nas thing. So hopefully sometime before the end of the year, we can drop that Nas ranking, because Nas is my #1 favorite artist. And when we do the Nas joint, Kings, we doing all the way up to King's Disease. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to figure if we doing Lost Tapes and all that. I'm going to, you know, figure it out. I may. But, you know what I mean? Because Lost Tapes wasn't necessarily an actual release. But, you know, it'd be fun to rank them anyway. You know what I mean? Because it is what it is, man. Let's have some fun out here, man. So it's your boy Black Trey, man. Thanks for tuning in, man. I really appreciate you guys spending the time with us. You feel what I'm saying? Checking out the videos. Like, we really got a love for music over here. You know what I mean? And if you got a love for music, make sure you guys hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Because we here, man. We gonna be doing this.
Don't work, but we begging for the sequel. Headed for the redo. Telling you I need you. No, I ain't ready, but I'm telling what should we do. Headed for the sequel. Telling all your people. Never letting go, that's a necessary evil. Headed for the sequel. Telling all your people. Never letting go, that's a necessary evil. Baby, one more time. Let me touch maybe one more time. I wanna